Yo, yo, yo. What is going on, everybody? We are at Tom Watkins in Springfield, Missouri to do a little review video of Simon's new secret weapon, aka maybe MVP's new money overstable mid slot. So I've got 4 discs to compare it to. So first one being, as many of you can see, the V1 balance. I've also got the new V2, which I wanted to get this video out because I saw him throwing this a lot during the Supreme Flight Open yesterday. So I know he's really enjoying it, and I think he's going to end up picking the V2 over the V3. I've yet to throw this disc, so I'm going to go in order of V1 balance, V2, so you guys can see the direct flight comparison. I, of course, have the PYRO, which I currently bag, but am thinking I'm going to put the V1 in. And then I've also got a discontinued disc, a first run Vector. And when I was doing kind of a profile comparison of the balance, I'll kind of get an up close shot of this. But basically, first off, this thing actually has some dome to it, which you can see. It's not board flat. But it's also, the New Balances have a slight little, maybe micro bead on the bottom of them. The Vector's got a little bit more of a bead on the bottom, not quite as small as the Balance. So I wanted to see how these fly, with them both being an overstable mid from MVP with a bead on the bottom. And yeah, the Balances feel really good in the hand. The Vector's not, I don't know how I feel about it with the slight bit of dome it has and this larger bead on the bottom, but we're going to see. Also, just want to say shout out to everybody that has subscribed and went and followed the Instagram. We did our first giveaway for our subscriber goal. The next one will be at 250 subs. Link will be below to my Instagram. You have to be subscribed and you have to be following my Instagram because that's where all the giveaways take place. I'll end up going live there maybe once a week, depending what goals we're going to hit. But it'll be the opportunity to win a disc in my giveaway stack or a gift card to Ozark Mountain Discs, which is my retail sponsor for this year. So shout out Ozark Mountain Disc. Their link will be below too. Let's get into it. I'm going to have all of the holes distances stamped in the bottom left corner. For hole 1, basically just a straight shot. I'm going to put a little bit of anhyzer on all of these and kind of keep them pretty much straight to the pin and try not to go long on hole 1. So V1 balance up first. First throw of the day. Okay. And then put as much anhyzer on that as I wanted. It kind of fought out pretty quick. First throw with the V1 and this beautiful swirly blue. And I put, well, it's coming back. I put more on that and it fought out. We're going to go PYRO here. This is the one that's been in the bag for a few months, so that flies very, very close to the V1. And first run Vector. I don't think this will be as stable as any of the others, so I'm probably just going to actually throw this flat. Ah, maybe. It's a nice flying disc. Alright, none of these shots were the best, but kind of got to see how they all grouped. Probably not going to be putting it all, just going to be doing some toss-ups with these for par. Again, just wanting to get a video out for people who, want to see the flight comparison of these. All right, hole 2. Technically, hole 5. I know I said I'm going to put the distance up, but it's almost just comes natural to say the distance out. So we got 250. Last hole was 230, which I felt like I couldn't really juice on because I didn't want to go long with them. But this one we can actually rip on. It's 250 uphill, probably pays like 260, 270 right in there. We're going to go same order, V1 balance. I'm going to probably hang these out there right at the light pole, and we'll just see how they fight back towards the basket. Hung that one out there a little long. Yeah, that V1 flies. That V1 flies really, really nice. Very similar to my PYRO currently. All right, V2 balance. Here we go. That, I think, just dinked the pole. That is a very nice flying disc. Almost flies exactly how you'd want a beat-in PYRO to fly. So, it'd be nice to have, I think, that one in the V1 in the bag and the V2. If it gets windy, you can pull out the V1 PYRO. Hung that one in a little inside. That'd still be okay. Vector. Also, I forgot to mention I'm throwing these pretty flat. Threw that one, kind of released it early. Vector is very interesting. All right, I don't know if you guys can see it, but the V2 is parked right underneath the basket. V1 just inside circle 1. Oh, I was hoping that was going to fade in. The Vector, I'm having a hard time really powering up on it because I feel like it's not going to be as stable as what it is, but it turns out to be nice and stable. So I'm going to end up stop babying that disc. PYRO just inside the circle as well. Okay, hole 3. Basically everything else is even besides the V2 pounce. I got the birdie with that. I had some people comment on the Instagram that kind of just wanted to showcase how a lot of these would fly for a newer player for an overstable mid. And right now, you can really, I'll show it on this one too, but this flies just as overstable as a PYRO, if not a little bit more in my opinion. And then the PYRO, then the V2 balance, and then the Vector, which you can't get the Vector. I do have a, currently in the bag, actually a reactor that I bag in this slot for the Vector. And I'm going to throw it on this hole so we can kind of showcase the stability comparison between the V2 balance and the reactor. So here we go. Hole 3. Nice little 245 just straight there, kind of in the middle of these 3 trees. And I'm just going to try and probably aim it right at that, right there. We'll aim it right at that pine tree. And I'll get out of the way for the cam. Little inside. Circle 1 though. Again, try not to go long on these. All right, V2, a little bit straighter. Should be able to throw right at that pine tree. That should be nice if it gets over. Basically same spot. Kind of hung that one a little high out there and right, but you can still had fight to get over. PYRO. Oh, it'll fight over the fence, but I pulled it. Just the back door. All right, Vector. I want to really power into this and see what we can do. Oh my gosh, I cannot get my release angle right with that disc. That is weird. All right. Reactor. I wanted to showcase the reactor kind of close to the Vector. I threw that high, but I think they throw very similar. All right. Hopefully you guys can see that the V2 and V1 balance are right underneath the tree. Similar spot. PYRO was the back door. That'll be a par. It'll be just a toss-up par for all of these, but V1 and V2 made it into circle 1. I'm just really liking how those both fly. Took a par for everything over there. Not the best shots on my part, but trying to figure all of these out. This I thought would be a really nice hole to kind of showcase the flight because there's nothing in the way. Just going to throw these flat baskets 330 basically to the left of this first light pole. I'm going to kind of hang them out there by the light pole. V1 balance. flew very, very nice. V2 balance. Put some Annie on it, but it did not turn over. I'm telling you, those two discs are so nice to have slotted next to each other because they fly just how you'd want something that's stacked up in your mid slot, from straight to a little more overstable. PYRO. Man, the PYRO is good, man. I just like the hand feel of the balance a little bit more in the hand, but the PYRO flies so good. All right, Vector, I'm going to hang straight. I'm going to throw it straight at the basket, and my bet is this is going to turn a little bit. Honestly, it kind of reminded me of a hex. All right, PYRO and the V1 balance came up just outside circle 1. You guys like that little jump putt? The V2 would have been really good if I wouldn't have had pulled it over a bit. So that'll be a pitch up for par on all the. This is actually a hole that I would normally throw my PYRO on, or even my reactor. So I thought this would be a good hole to kind of showcase. Again, nothing in the way, just straight out there. 285. I kind of just hyzer it in between those two trees off there to the right. V1 balance at this first. Like I said, kind of right out there between those trees. Watch it just hyzer in. Get over. I earlier released the V2, so with the power of YouTube editing, that's going to be cut out, and I'm going to redo it. There it is. Yeah, that disc flies really, really nice. Okay, PYRO up next. Still trying to catch my breath. There's a little bit of wind out there. Just straighten my PYRO out a little bit. All right, Vector. Let's see what you got. Wow. That flips to flat and still has a little bit of finish at the end. All right, V1 balance probably just outside of circle. Maybe in. Sadly, this Vector, I don't know why I'm just not giving it all, but I keep coming up short with it, and I shouldn't be. PYRO and V1 balance are probably like right next to each other in terms of distance. We'll go par for all of these and move to the next hole. All right, par for everybody else on that hole. Not really throwing these the best, but hopefully people can kind of see the stability of each of these, how they're slotted up next to each other. This one, another one I would throw my PYRO on and typically can park. Just throw it dead center down the fairway and it falls right in towards the basket. We got 300 feet. V1 balance up first. That should be nice if it gets over in time. That would have been a little ace run there. All right, V2. That V2 has a little bit of nice, yeah, It flips up really nice. I like that. Okay. Pyro, old trusty dog, come on. Missed that tree. Little backdoor shot. Kind of cutting those in a little bit earlier than I want. Vector. When I throw with a little bit of hyzer, just watch this thing flip up and finish a little bit. Unless I throw it right at the ground. Okay. All right. V1 balance came up a little bit short because of this tree. So this will end up being toss up for par for all of these. All right. I actually changed my mind. Before we move on to this hole, I'm going to do a flat backhand shot right at the basket and try not to go long. This is only 230 foot, and with an overstable mid like this, it's easy to go long. So we're going to try and not go long, but throw it kind of gentle, maybe like more of an amateur's arm speed, just to see how these fly. So we'll go V1 balance, kind of hanging off just to the right of the basket. Don't be long. Nice. Okay. V2 balance. You can really see the flight difference between those two and how much straighter that V2 is. We're going to go pyro. Get in the basket. Are you kidding me? Oh, I thought that was it. All right, vector. Kind of figuring that vector out. It was still really short. I'm just more bonus content. We've got to try and ace it at this point. All right, 2 tempos in honor of the tempo video. See what we can do with these puppies. That may be it. Nope. It was the line. If that stays up, that may do it too. All right. Hole 18, 279. Another great hole for a nice little overstable mid. Just going to go, I think this is probably a good one just to kind of hang out to the right and let it fall into the basket. So we'll start off with the V1 balance here. Hang it out there to the right and see how she falls in. Probably a little short. I kind of threw that high. Kind of put an ante on all of these, which is kind of how I throw my overstable mids. It's just kind of, I don't know, it's just what I do. It's like I expect them to be kind of overstable. So that flew very nice though. I'm really liking that V2 balance. Got a little bit of a headwind here. That pyro flies very, very straight for the pyros that I've thrown, but like I said, it's been in the back for a little while. Got the vector. Look at that. It's a very nice flyer. The balance is again sneaking into edge of circle. Actually, the V2 may just be just out. I just really like how these are all flying. The vector, I started to kind of figure out the last few holes on how to throw it. Thing is, I've had the pyro in my bag for pretty much all last season. I kind of added it in halfway through, coming up on a year. And I'm already throwing these balances a little bit more consistent. is drop a comment down below if you guys have tried the V1 and the V2 out, and what are your thoughts? I personally think they're going to go right in the bag just because the balance originally with the V2 is supposed to be as a slot between the reactor and the PYRO, and I think the V2 nails that. So Simon was throwing it quite a bit, thought I'd get a video out on it. Drop a comment, a like, subscribe. Head over to the Instagram if you want to win some new plastic or a gift card to Ozark Mountain Discs. Like I said, we'll do that next giveaway when we hit 250 subs. Have a good one, guys.